Hello and welcome to Tara's Mental Calibration. I am Tara. Before I get started, let me go ahead and go through my disclaimers, which is I am not a mental health care professional. Everything I discuss, I am talking about my own experiences personally. I am currently in my own trauma therapy. And I highly recommend anybody who is going through any kind of mental whatever, get therapy. Make sure you have somebody to talk to. Make sure you have support on some level. And goes into the trigger warning. Sometimes I may talk about things that could be triggering to you. So use your discernment, your discretion as to when to turn it off and when to continue listening. It's entirely up to you. All right, so this week I am going to talk about, and this is actually triggering for me, what would you be without the trauma that has taken place in your life? I know for me, my trauma goes way back to even before I was born. I was conceived in a way that was not uh, in a loving way. I'll just say it like that. And I do believe that when we are in the womb, we can feel the stress of our mother. I know that I was actually told that when my mom actually told me that when she found out that she was pregnant with me, she cried because she did not want any children. And to put it politely, I was forced upon her when she had said no, if you know what I mean. And she kept me anyway. So that was kind of traumatic for me to hear, knowing how I was conceived. And it made sense as to why I was treated the way that I was a lot of the time. Like I was just an afterthought, or I was a burden, or it would just be better if I wasn't around sometimes. So, with that being said, if I had had the encouragement, I could have been a lot more than what I am now. I have been trying to grasp a lot about how I can move forward with the healthy thought process of still being everything that I've always wanted to be. I mean, when I was a child, I wanted to be a veterinarian. I wanted to be, uh, at one point, I wanted to be a nurse. Another point, I wanted to be a mother. I wanted to be a parent. I wanted to have happy and healthy relationships. And I know that without my trauma, I would have been set up to have all of those things. But does that mean I would have had all of those things? Probably not. We have things in life that we have to learn. So if it's not one thing, it's going to be another. I do not believe that anybody has a perfect life. There's always going to be some kind of struggle, some kind of challenge, even if it doesn't seem like it's anything. Have you ever talked to a person where you're like, damn, I wish I had your problem. Let's switch places. You know, um, I've actually thought like that a couple of times when I see certain problems, especially from celebrities, but they don't know what it's like to be everyday people either. So they do have their own struggles that is stressful for them. It doesn't make it any less um, important because at least for me, I can't relate to um celebrity status. So getting back to the point, I look at everything I want it to become and I've picked it apart. Would I have had all of those things? Probably not. I would have had to pick one, either being a veterinarian or being a nurse or being a mother. Sometimes people can do it all. I probably wouldn't have done it all. I still would have had to have a challenge. I still would have had to make a choice. Um, but I didn't choose any of it. I have this thing that I'm trying to work out in therapy where I need validation, where I need acceptance, where I need to be told it's okay for you to do that. Um, it is a form of codependency where it's like I don't feel right about something unless I have somebody's approval. And so I have been challenging myself with that for the past couple of years, where I'm wanting to do things or I've been doing things. And I try to step into it with a positive mindset as to how would I be right now, the age that I am, without the trauma. I would be a person who would walk into it confidently. Like I'm literally sitting here right now talking to you about it with my eyes closed, and I can see it. I can feel the confidence of walking in the room, saying what I need to say, actually being heard, and not worrying about being heard. Either a person listens or they don't. Either they soak it in or they don't. And I am succeeding. And what does success mean to me? Success is from a healed version from how I feel right now. Without the trauma, success is having a strong mind. And even though it may not come about exactly how you want it to be, you don't give up. There's a road there. There's a way to do it. Encouraging yourself, not needing anybody to encourage you. And I can actually feel this in my body as I'm talking about it. And I have been doing this thing for a while. It's been years that I've trained myself to do this. That when I close my eyes, I can get into this meditative state where I can feel my meditation, my affirmation, what it is that I'm trying to bring to fruition. And if I only stop and do this every time I feel anxiety, and let me tell you, I don't. I don't do it. I should do it, but I don't do it. It works, but um I'm not very consistent with it. And I know I should be because it does work for me. And I'm picturing how it would have been if I was raised with the encouragement I needed, with the um, love that I needed, with the sense of someone being proud of me. And that right there is where I step in and become my own parent. Now, I may not be that veterinarian or that nurse. I know I'm not a mother, but I can still pertain this mindset to everything else I do from here on out. And so that way, everything I do is a sense of accomplishment. It's a sense of knowing I got something done for me and appreciating the fact that I don't have anything to prove to anybody. When I was younger, I would try to do things to prove something to somebody. It was either out of anger and, like I got told a lot that I wasn't going to amount to shit. Sorry for saying that word. Now I'm going to have to set the episode to say not clean because I said a cuss word, but I might as well go ahead and finish it out now. So I was told a lot that I wasn't going to amount to shit. And so I got my GED from high school at 16 and went right into college and got my associate's degree in business and accounting. And I didn't do that for me. I didn't even pick a subject that was for me. I wanted to do something that was successful, something that I knew I would get paid for, like get paid very well for. But I did that out of anger of I am going to amount to shit. But now I am going back to school and I'm doing it differently. Now I'm going back to school. I'm going to get my bachelor's in liberal arts and humanities. And I'm choosing a subject for me that's going to open up a lot of doors for me to be able to help other people. In what way, I don't know yet. But I'm not doing this to prove to my mom that I'm going to be more than a worthless piece of shit. I'm not doing it for that reason anymore. Now I'm doing it for my own reasons, for me. And the feeling is so different. When you do something just to prove something to somebody, like out of anger, it doesn't feel the same as when you do it for yourself and you're doing it because that's what you love to do. That's what you want to do. It's more calm. It's more loving. I don't know about you, but I get really emotional when I am grateful. So I've been really emotional a lot as I am seeing the differences in myself on how I address something or how I take something on. I try to come from a place of understanding and still allow my feelings to come through. I can disagree with something and not, I can disagree with something, and understand it without sacrificing my feelings or disrespecting another person. It's just like really looking at things for how they are and being honest with yourself as to what you're actually looking at. And sometimes it's really difficult to come from that space because sometimes you realize what is for you, but sometimes you also realize what's not for you. And it's those times when you realize what's not for you that things could change and things can evolve into something else and separate. So, you know, looking at how you do things without the trauma, it all is derived from love. Moving forward comes from love. Wanting to be there, wanting to encourage comes from love. Wanting to set up a foundation for yourself and welcome in love comes from love. It comes from loving yourself and knowing that you deserve the best, knowing that you deserve love in your life, knowing that you deserve support in your life, and not being afraid of it. You know, there was something I was talking about when, people do things differently. For me, want to, I don't want to be the type of person who's going to isolate and shut everybody out. I want to be the type of person, like right now, I'm at what I consider ground zero. I really don't have any friends. I don't have any family. I have my husband, but I don't have like a brother or a sister or anything like that, or parents that I can really depend on. I don't have any children. So I don't really want to stay in that alone place. I actually want to build a family that I never had. And what that looks like, I don't know. I'm not sure what that looks like just yet. I just know that I'm open to it and I want to grow in that direction. Is it going to be kids? Probably not. I only want to enjoy the fun parts of kids and send them back home. I really don't want to do the whole diaper changing thing. I don't want to do waking up, getting them ready for school, doing, projects from school, book reports. I don't want to do all that. I just want to do the fun stuff. And I am going to be looking into volunteering. But I do definitely want to build up a family dynamic and let it be healthy. And I get to choose. I actually get to shop and choose and figure it out as I go along. And I'm really excited about that. It's just hard to do it alone. And maybe I shouldn't say that it's hard to do it alone. It's not really hard to do it alone. It's just something that, like, if you're by yourself, it's easy to do it alone. But if you're in a relationship, it can be difficult to do that in a relationship if you don't see eye to eye. So, it can be the wedge or it can be the glue. It just depends on what kind of situation you're in. So I ask myself every day to try to be the person that I always dream of being without the trauma. And it doesn't mean that I am turning away and pretending that the trauma never happened. It just means that the trauma doesn't have a place in my life anymore. It already happened. There's no reason for me to keep holding on to something that doesn't need to be held on to anymore. It's a sense of letting myself be free and having the freedom that I know that I deserve, the freedom to love, the freedom to grow, the freedom to accept wonderful people in my life. And I say wonderful people. Wonderful people does not mean perfect people. But I don't have to accept people who are full of drama. And I actually won't. I'm very intolerant to drama. So, what helps me is having that mindset of trying to wake up every day and being the person that doesn't live through my trauma anymore. Now it's still uncomfortable for me, but now I'm learning how to live through the healing, the recovery that I've already done, the work I've already put in. It would actually be an insult to all the work that I have done if I don't at least give it a shot of growing and expanding on the love that I have already built for myself. The foundation is strong. Now I just need to keep building and try my best not to be afraid as I go. So that is today's episode. I am going to go ahead and close it out. I am sending you a bunch of love and light, and I will talk to you next week. If you have anything that you want to say about this episode or any of the other episodes, or if you have a topic that you want talked about, please shoot me an email. It is terasmentalcalibration@gmail.com. And it is no spaces, no underscores, no punctuation, just all together. terasmentalcalibration@gmail.com. All right, have a great week, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.